What's up YouTube, it's your boy Garaxy TV and I'm coming at you with another Hero Siege 2 Season 2 build guide. This time we're going to be looking at the Viking and this is my Suctionator 2000. It's going to be a whirlwind build that uses vacuum strike weapon abilities to pull enemies in as we're whirlwinding. It's super fast. We're rocking about 500 to 550% movement speed. I don't remember the exact number. We have a ton of movement speed and this is just the ultimate sit on the couch with a controller and hold right trigger blaster, dude. It's so fun to play and I really enjoy this one. I've kind of gone through it with the gearing and made it balanced in terms of damage and speed, right? I could probably get more speed, I could probably get more damage, but it can't get both. Right, it's kind of this really nice fine balance between both of them that I found. I will also preface that the gear that we're going to be showing in the showcase is very expensive gear, guys. Okay, I am going to go through all of that gear, the relics, back bar, weapon abilities, charms, the whole shebang, show you the skill trees that I'm using, what the merc looks like, hero levels, stat pages, DPS check, all of that stuff. At the end of the video I will have a leveling guide that will show you how to get from level 1 all the way to level 100 and just different things that you might need while you're leveling, what to look out for in terms of different affixes on items, leveling rune words, the charms that you might need, what those skill trees look like at different levels, right? So I will have a bit of a leveling section and then I'll give you a little bit of tips and tricks on how to transition into this more expensive version and how to get, because it really comes down to getting those weapon abilities. Once you have those, the sky's the limit. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so let's go and do a quick DPS check. Now, something to note going into Season 2 is they changed the amount of monster health in Hell 5. It's now 1700% increased monster health. Previously it was like, what, 300 or 500%? So it's between 3 and 5 times harder in Hell 5 now. So that's something to keep in mind. We're rocking about 3 mil per target, give or take. So that's pretty good overall. That's pretty good. Now, what gear makes this bad boy work? As you can see, we have some new gear to talk about, boys. We have some new gear. Okay, let's start with the weapons. We are using 2 Wraith Forged Cleavers. These are new axes. We actually created these in chat with Elias. They're awesome. Okay, they have up to +10 skills. It's an insanely RNG roll between 5 and 10, but up to +10. We have that life steal, we have man on kill, we have 100% increased crit strike damage, 50% ignore target defense, attacks can hit multiple enemies. We have splash on 2-handed weapons now, prevent monster heal, and as well as we get this cool dark oath level 22. It's that dark oath aura that you're seeing underneath me. It doesn't do any damage, right? It's just kind of cool. It's kind of like a cool MTX for us. You can see on this weapon that has a 15% chance to cast a level 66 Slice of Shadows. It doesn't do anything, right? I mean, it does proc, but it doesn't do any damage. And then we have a 40% chance to cast a level 5 vacuuming strike on strike. That's what's giving us that big pull, that big vacuum. And we have that on 2 of these, right? Now, in both of these, we did stack a bunch of angelic gems to get more plus skills. That's what these babies are right here. So on this one, we have +16. Over here, we did add in a couple exo runes for deadly blow, right? We want to get a 100% deadly blow. Insane axes. You could go some other options here. You could go for crushing blow. You could go for enhanced damage. There's some different options you can go in the sockets. I went for angelic gems. We are rocking an enigma for the movement speed. That's the main reason. It does give us a little bit of crushing blow, the life on kill, percent max life, damage goes to mana, PDR, 75 strength, which is also 75% attack damage. They did change enigma going into Season 2. It no longer has 100% magic find. They changed it. We do have vitality there as well now. Really nice item. Another new item, a Legionnaire helmet. This is an exo, a key, and a goal. Now we have a 5% chance to cast a level 14 Live by the Sword when attacking. I see if I get a proc here for you there. There we go. That's going to give us 42% increased movement speed as well as 112% attack speed. The attack speed doesn't do anything for Whirlwind. Just as a side note, attack speed overall does nothing for Whirlwind. It's the proc animation on Whirlwind you cannot change with attack speed, different weapon bases, nothing. The animation is the animation. Okay. So, but that does give us 42% movement speed for that proc, which is absolutely insane. This rolls up to +6 to physical skills, 25% chance for deadly blow. The attack rating doesn't matter because we have 100% ignore target defense, which is effectively 100% hit chance. We do get dual leech, so we can take care of all of our leech problems in one item, right? For mana and life leech. We do get 40 strength on this one. That's also 40% attack damage as well as a roll on attack damage. You can see that says 72%, which is higher than the actual range. It's because in Hero Siege, the runes also apply with the rune word, right? So one of the, I believe it's the key rune, has attack damage on it. So this would have rolled like 50 something and then 50. Yo, math is hard, boys. 6, 7, something like that. I would have rolled like in like 56, for example, plus the rune, right? That's how we're getting the 72% increased attack damage. So this weapon has 100, or excuse me, this helmet has 112% increased attack damage on it because of the strength. Insane item, not that expensive. A zone, a key, not that expensive. We are rocking a Raven's Claw. We get crit strike chance as well as crit damage, super important because again these weapons both have 100% increased crit damage on them. That's a lot. That is a lot. We are using 2 Elven Graces, right? Those have the crit strike chance again and the crit damage. We are using Windwalker Steps really just for the movement speed. There's really nothing else on this that we care about, just the movement speed. It's kind of a 1 stat item. You can go ninja tabbies, you can go whatever you want there. I just went for the max movement speed. We do have face breakers. Another really good option here is actually a mythic pair of gloves. They changed itemization coming into season 2, so you could get like a +5 to Jotun skills or plus to whirlwind skill gloves with leech and life on kill or mana on kill. There might be movement speed on gloves, I don't believe so, but that could be an option as well as damage, right? So that could be an option you could play around with or look for. Maybe try and find some insane gloves that are drop craft only. We do have a belt of skulls. This is giving us deadly blow, crushing blow, some leech, attack damage, hit recovery. Belt skulls, really good option here as well. Now, if you want to go extra zoom, there is a new item in the game called the Sash of Eternal Hatred. You can only get it from Uber Damien. It rolls 3 predetermined stats and 3 random stats. This one happened to roll movement speed twice, so we have 38% increased movement speed, as well as it rolled damage goes to mana. Not that useful, but and we have 75% hit recovery, so we could get another 38% movement speed here, and then we could also drop our Elven Graces for Quickening Zephyrs. These are going to give us 30% movement speed each for maximum movement speed, and you can see in terms of our damage it's not going to make too much of a difference, right? It's not going to make too much of a difference. Wait, chat, it made a huge difference. wait, hang on. Reset. Okay, it makes a bit of a difference. It's not that bad though, right? I mean, it's about half your damage, but I'm telling you, in Hell 5, you're gonna be blasting everything anyway, especially with Vacuum Strike, right? You're just gonna be pulling everything together, and you'll melt right through. Like, you can decide if going in the Elven Graces is the better option for you or not, right? So I prefer going the zoom speed. We do have an Annihilator. We do have a Viking's Glyph Rune, a Torch of Shadows, a Fulgurite, a Spine Trophy, and an Earth Melon Charm. These are all pretty insane charms. You don't need all of these. Let's show the damage without charms. Right. I'll put on Spine Trophy. This isn't hard to get. That's not hard to get. And honestly, that's not hard to get. These three are kind of a bit more of like you need some juice to get, right? So we'll look at the damage with just these. Yeah, it's pretty respectable still, right? Still very respectable. These do add a lot though. Right, those do add a lot of juice. So something to keep in mind. If you're looking at why maybe you don't have as much damage, it's probably because this Earth Melon adds so much damage because of the flat on it. Right, that flat is insane. Taking a look at the relics here. Relics in Season 2 now go to level 10. So we have a Razor Blade that's giving us 50% increased crit strike damage, a Newt Tail for 30% movement speed, as well as the Magic Find. Amputation Kit gives us 50% movement speed, and Rock Belt is another 30% movement speed and 30 attack damage or 30 strength, whichever way you like to look at it. So you could probably swap out the Rock Belt for Twin Blades. That's crit chance and crit damage. Could be a really good option here as well. In Season 2, there are now new potions. Okay. So you can see down here I have these 4 potions. Witch's Potion gives us, it's a health and mana potion. If we get low, we can hit it and we get our juice back. We have a bottle of Redacte. This gives us increased movement speed and phasing. Elixir of Death for enhanced damage. And a bottle of Sake increases your attack damage and crit strike, your crit strike damage. I did not use these on the DPS test. We can do it real quick again to show you what it would look like with these procced. They do have a 15-second duration with a 25% cooldown for the flasks. So yeah, they definitely add juice. Very worth using, just something to look at and keep in mind while you're blasting through. Just hit your flasks, they do help. Especially if you're maybe on a boss or just on something that's a bit more tanky. Now, taking a look at the Mercenary's gear. He's using a Death Smear, a Mystic Allure, a 4-socket bucket, and a 4-socket Leprechaun's Greed. This is best in slot for most mercs in Season 5. There hasn't been a whole lot of changes to mercs or merc gearing. It's still kind of the Magic Find meta on the mercs. You could go for something that's a bit more tanky. If you're wormhole pushing, I would obviously go something that's a bit more tanky. Get some PDR, get some MDR, get overstacked reses, max reses. There's a lot you could do with a merc to make him just extra tanky. But in terms of health 5 from blasting, you just want to get as much Magic Find on here as you possibly can, and I believe this is pretty close to max with putting hits and everything. We're rocking, he has about 427 Magic Find on the merc. They did again remove Magic Find from Enigma, so Enigma is no longer the best in slot here. Mystic Lure, I believe, is going to be our best in slot body armor going into Season 2 for the Mercenary. Next, we're going to take a look at all of the skill trees. Okay, so I went ahead and cleared out my skill tree so that we can build this together here. There is one brand new thing here in Season 2 is we have a specialization now that we can spec into. You can click on this here only after you've respec'd or the very first time you need to pick it. This unlocks at level 100, okay? So we could go for Whirlwind. This will give us 20% attack damage. I've also considered going Battle Agility, if I can find it here. There it is. You get 20% movement speed from Battle Agility, but for the sakes of this video, we will go with the Whirlwind. Now, obviously, Whirlwind is our mage and damage dealer, so we need to max out Whirlwind. We can see that our synergies are Brute Force, Zeal, and Battle Agility. So Battle Agility is actually over here, so we need to put a point in Defensive Shout to unlock Battle Agility. Let's go ahead and max that one out. We do like to put a point in Stone Skin to increase our defense, a point in Norse Resistance. This gives us all resistance, a point in Odin's Fury, and a point in Combat Orders, right? So Combat Orders is going to give us 96% max life, max mana on a super long duration. We will also put 1 point in Weapon Master for 220% attack damage. And we don't need anything in charge. We don't need anything in Devastation charge, right? So that's going to be all of those abilities there. We also have our brute force. This gives us increased crit strike chance and crit damage. Very important. So we're going to max this out. Again, this is also a synergy for whirlwind. We are going to put a point in zeal, a point in demolishing winds. This is where you kind of have to decide which direction you want to go. I prefer to go max zeal because it's a synergy for whirlwind, and then put the remaining points in either you could go weapon master, or you could put them in demolishing winds if you want. Personally, I like to go with weapon master for the most damage possible out of the whirlwind itself. This is kind of more just MTX, to be honest with you. So that's what the skill tree looks like for us. Here's the mercenary skill tree. We put 1 point into everything. Right? From there, we like to do increased damage reduction from all sources. Max that out. Right below it, give him some health regen. Give him dodge chance. Give him a life leech on melee attacks. And then from there, I just usually blast the rest of them in armor. Armor increased by 27. It's not really much, but you can put those points wherever you want. I just like to do these main 4 here. Makes them very, very tanky. For hero levels, here's what my hero levels currently look like. We do strength, hit recovery, attack damage, life increased, crit damage, movement speed, increased life and mana. You could go with life and mana on kill. You could pick any of these are really good. We have so much leech that honestly getting the extra life and mana is better, I think. Magic find, again, you could go gold find, you could go with XP. Defense by 10%. That's the best one. The others are useless. And then I do 2 to all skills. You could go 30 attributes if you need. There's no way you'll need the all res, but if for whatever reason you needed that to like overstack on reses, you could go 30 all res. Taking a look at the stat screens here, you can see that we put all of our points into strength. We don't need to put points anywhere else. We have 2,000 life and 1,200 mana by putting every point into strength and just using our combat orders to give us life and mana on 15-minute durations, right? That's how we manage our life and mana. Strength gives us attack damage and added physical damage per point. This is massive for your damage. If you're having trouble in damage, this could be why. Maybe you accidentally put some points in different spots here. You don't need armor, you don't need energy, you don't need vitality. Maybe vitality if you're doing some bossing and you just don't want to get one shot by certain things. But for health by blasting, you want to have all of your points in strength. Now, we do have 410% movement speed. We can get more. As I was telling you before, we go double Zephyr and this belt here, the Sash of Hatred. That would put us up to 504%, as well as the proc from our helmet. The proc from our helmet. There it is. Gives us another 42% movement speed, putting us up to 546% movement speed. That took way too long, by the way. You pretty much always have that buff. Okay. You can see our total damage here. Attack rating doesn't matter because we have 100% ignore target defense. Ignore target defense is basically your chance to hit enemies is their defense. If you're ignoring all of it, then you have 100% hit chance. We have 100% deadly blow. If we go the Bolt of Skulls route, we get 100% deadly blow. Otherwise, you're going to want to, if you go with a Sash of Hatred and have the movement speed, you're going to have to drop maybe an Angelic Gem here and put in another Exo rune for deadly blow to hit 100% deadly blow, which you want all the time. So it kind of just depends on your setup, right? You can see with my Belt of Skulls, I have 100% deadly blow here because the Belt of Skulls has 25% on it. When I take it off, we jump down to 83%. Right? So I would just need to fix one rune or one gem to be able to wear this instead and go the movement speed direction. That's probably why whenever I was doing a DPS check on the Zephyrs, right, I didn't have full deadly blow, and that makes a massive difference in your overall damage, because it's 17%, like from 83% to 100% is multiplicative damage, right? It's so much extra damage to be at 100% deadly blow all the time, because deadly blow is literally 50% increased physical damage. That is massive. Okay, we have 606% crit damage and 56% crit strike chance. Again, that changes if you want to go the higher damage route. That brings your grand total up to, if I go back to it, 93% chance for crit strike chance and 676 crit strike damage. Okay, so you can't go that route. It really comes down to what gear you have and how fast you want to zoom, right? You want to always balance your damage to clear speed. We have 1300 added physical damage, decent life and mana, 44% life leech, and 5% mana leech. You cannot run out of mana. As long as you have at least one target that you're attacking, you cannot run out of mana, period. It doesn't matter, because you're leeching back 5% of millions of damage. It's impossible for you to run out of mana, unless something sucks all of your mana, in which case you'd have to literally get it all the way down to a point where you have 0 mana and cannot attack, in which case half a second you are replenishing, you hit them one time, it slurps all the way back up. Okay, life leech, you have 44% of our damage is leeched as life. You cannot die if you have one target that you can leech on. You cannot die unless they one-shot you. It's impossible to die. It's insane. It's very, very tanky. We have life on kill. We have mana on kill. We have 1,000 magic find, 1,050. It's actually 250 magic find. In season 2, a magic find in Hell 5 got buffed to 800% over 500%. So we have 250 magic find on our character, as well as our mercenary has 476 magic find. So we're rocking 1,500 magic find in Hell 5. Extra gold from monsters. It's kind of nice, right? We have 7,778. Dang. If only that was all 7s. Defense, that's a lot, right? Defense is our chance to be hit by enemies, and so we're dodging a lot, basically. Okay, we have 42% physical damage reduction. It's a very respectable number, as well as our resistances are all maxed. I'm not sure what the overcap is. If you're bossing, it might be worth getting, like, checking and seeing where your reses here are, because Uber Damien now gives you a minus 75% resistance penalty, as well as then on top of that you want to be overstacked. So definitely some different gearing options if you plan on bossing. Okay, yeah, so that is the stat sheet for our character. Here is the stats for the mercenary. Again, the only real thing we care about is that he has decent magic find and that he has decent life. Now we're gonna get into the leveling guide for the Viking. This is to get you from level 1 to level 100. Okay, I'm gonna show you all of the skill trees that we're gonna use, stat allocation, different items to look for, affixes that are important, charms, everything that you're gonna need to get to level 100. Okay, so starting out level 1, we are going to use Seismic Slam. Make sure that after level 1, you put points in synergies, not the skill itself, okay? Because this increases the mana cost every time you put a point in your main skill. So early, you don't have a ton of mana, so you don't want to beef out this too much, but you can get more damage on it from the synergies. So your first few levels, it looks something like this, right? I got all my plus skills on, but you put 1 point charge, 1 point seismic slam, 1 point brute force. The next couple of levels, you probably put 1 here, 1 here, and maybe 1 here, right? You start pumping up the synergy, right? Instead of the actual damage. In terms of stat allocation, you'll do 2 levels of strength, 1 level of vitality. And you'll do that all the way to level 100. So 2 levels of strength, 1 level of vitality, 2 levels of strength, 1 level of vitality. Follow that ratio all the way to level 100. You can put a little bit into energy. I would recommend you do that early, like level 12 to 16 or 12 to 15 or whatever it is that you want to do. Get some energy early. Having like 100 energy early is very, very, very nice for that early whirlwinding, because what will happen is you'll have like a pack here, right? or like a single target, you're spamming on this, you're spamming on this, it's dead. Okay, now you move, there's a pack here. Well, it took you all of this time to get there, and the whole time you were whirlwinding, and by the time you got here, you ran out of mana. Right? So having that extra energy will allow you to whirlwind pack to pack much easier. Okay, so I would recommend just a little bit into energy, and then again 2 strength, 1 vitality. In terms of level, 2 levels of strength, 1 level of vitality, 2 levels of strength, 1 level of vitality. Do that over and over. So you're going to be running Seismic Slam all the way until level 16. At level 16, you'll hit that reset skills. You're going to respec, put 5 points into Whirlwind, 1 point Brute Force, 1 point Zeal, 1 point Stone Skin, 1 point Norse Resistance, 1 point Charge, and then for your remaining points, you'll blast them into synergies, right? So the highest synergy for Whirlwind is Brute Force, so you'll put your remaining points into Brute Force. Okay? And then as you're leveling, the next breakpoint on levels is 24. So for the next 8 levels, you'll just go back and forth between Whirlwind and Brute Force. Once you hit level 24, respec 1 more time. You're going to put, again, those same 5 points into Whirlwind. You're going to put 1 point Charge, 1 point Weapon Master, 1 point Stone Skin, 1 point Norse Resistance, 1 point Defensive Shout, 1 point into Battle Agility, 1 point Brute Force, 1 point Zeal. Okay, that's the main setup for your skills. From here, you're going to go back and forth between Whirlwind and Battle Agility. Battle Agility is movement speed. So it'll be 1 point Whirlwind, 1 point movement speed, 1 point Whirlwind, 1 point movement speed. And you're going to go back and forth on these until level 30. Okay, at level 30, you'll put 1 point Odin's, 1 point in your combat orders. This is a 1 point wonder skill. This will give you life and mana. It's kind of nice, gives you a little bit. It's not very much at a low level, but you'll put a point there. And then again, you're just going to keep going back and forth between these two. If you want to go for a bit more of a speed run, you would get this to maybe level 10 on your Whirlwind, and then you would max your Battle Agility to get the most speed as you could. Once you have your Battle Agility maxed and your Whirlwind maxed, you'll go to your next biggest synergy, which is going to be Brute Force. Once that's maxed, you'll go to your next biggest synergy, which is Zeal. Okay? This will put you around level 80, right? The rest of your points would either be Weapon Master. I would recommend you put the rest of them in Weapon Master. And then for your last point, you'll put 1 into Demolishing Winds. Right? At level 100, you can now pick your specialization. You just click Whirlwind, and that's the whole skill tree. Okay? It's pretty easy. Now, in terms of leveling and gear, this is where I think people struggle the most, okay? Because Whirlwind scales off of additive physical damage. However, you get the same benefit with cold damage, fire damage, poison damage, lightning damage. So charms are extremely important. You need to be getting charms that any charm that drops, pick it up, okay? You can get leech on them, you can get life and mana on kill, you can get all this additive damage, you can get movement speed, like phasing charms. They're amazing. Pick up every charm. The best charms that you can get are movement speed and added physical damage, okay? You cannot leech elements in Hero Siege. So if you have a ton of additive lightning damage, it's giving you damage, but you're not leeching back any mana or health. And people die because of that, and they don't understand why they can't sustain. That's the reason. So pick up as many of those physical ones as you possibly can. They're very, very important early, especially once you get Whirlwind. It makes Whirlwind a breeze having them, okay? Now, what's also important is on your gear. You want to try and get two-handers that have leech, right? Gloves can get leech, helmet can get leech, rings can get leech. You want to try and get as much leech everywhere as you possibly can. Any sort of added physical damage or additive damage on those is really important. Res is really nice. Attack speed on your weapons is massive. If you can get like leech, added phys damage, and attack speed on a weapon, that's huge early, right? As far as early rune words go, we have a few different options. I recommend trying to get 2 malices as soon as you can. Okay, it's probably not going to happen until you get into the level 50 to level 60 era, right, where you're going to be able to make 1. But look out for 3 open socket swords, axes, maces. It doesn't matter, just 3 socket 2-handed of any of those in an S tier is fantastic to make malices in. Make 2 of them. This will give you 100% ignore target defense, making you have 100% chance to hit enemies. This is huge while you are leveling. I cannot stress enough how great these are. If you find a co-rune, you can make a cone of fell. You can make an Aurora's Might. It's a 3 socket weapon that you can put on your merc. It gives you lunar aura. Lunar aura will increase your resistances, as well as it gives you additive arcane damage. So it's a fantastic merc weapon to have while you're leveling. Quick steps are a pair of boots that you need as soon as possible. You can make these as early as level 32. Any base of boots that have 2 sockets and are white, you can make these boots in. They give you up to 70% movement speed. This is huge, right? If you find a pair of D tier boots that have 2 sockets in them, make it. I know you might be level 80 and you find a pair of D tier with 2 sockets, do it. It's worth it, I promise you. Okay, you can always remake it later in a higher tier if you want to, but these boots are great. They have the leech and that movement speed. I cannot stress enough how important that is for leveling. Okay, the next item, if you get a 2 socket helm and you find a nut rune, you can make a flesh ripper. Flesh ripper's, it's nice. It has decent stats on it, some crit chance. It's just a good placeholder. You might have a better helmet that you're using than the flesh ripper, but if you find like a satanic, any satanics that you drop with things like leech, movement speed, additive physical damage, attack speed, early, right? Because attack speed does nothing for whirlwind. So up until level 16, you want to get some attack speed. After 16, you don't care about attack speed at all. It does nothing for whirlwind. The type of weapon that you're using, that doesn't change the hit animation for whirlwind. Nothing about it changes, right? The only thing that you care about in terms of attack speed is early from that 1 to level 16. Okay, so that's pretty much how I would level. That's how I have leveled my Vikings in the past. It's a pretty foolproof system. Just try and manage your charms and get leech and get decent weapons, and you'll fly with quick steps. Okay, that's the basics I'm getting from level 1 to level 100. If you have any questions about any of that, please leave those in the comments. I'm always checking comments. If you're not really sure if you're stuck or whatever it may be, I'll be more than happy to answer any questions on how to get you guys through the game and farming in L1. All right, boys, that's gonna wrap up the Suctionator 2000. This build is just so fun. It's very fast. It pulls everything in. It's everything that you would ever want in Spin to Win and even more. Now, I'm going to be making so much more content for season 2. It's been such a blast. I am in the middle of making a video for patch notes. I promise that'll be coming out soon. There's so much to talk about in season 2. It's amazing. It feels great, and I'm just glad to be here and to be making content for Hero Siege 2 and people that are enjoying it. So if you like this content, feel free to hit the subscribe button. You can check me out at twitch.tv/GaraxiTV. I am live there pretty much every day. Right now, I've been making more videos, so I haven't been going as hard. We do have the PoE League coming up here soon, so I'll be playing that, as well as Median XL starts next week. So I will be playing that a lot as well. But for right now, I'm just trying to focus on pushing out as much Hero Siege 2 content as I can during the closed beta. And if you guys have any questions, any comments, please leave those down below. Leave a comment on maybe a build that you want to see next. I'd be more than happy to make a video on that. I think we're doing Demon Spawn next.